Greetings.
Hi, Todd. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Good, good. Good to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. I'm sorry to hear about what you've been through this week.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, Mama's in a better place, more peaceful place for sure.
Maybe she'll meet my papa.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just going to give everybody about a half a minute or so more to jump on here. They're usually pretty much on time. So there was a little bit of misconfusion and people thought it got canceled. So we had to rush through and make sure that they all knew that it didn't get canceled.
Gotcha. What's up, Tina Keb? She's closing somebody right now. Look at her. She's on it.
Yeah. We've had a great month. I mean, honestly, for everybody being so concerned about this coronavirus, one, it's a great time to be talking to people because everybody's sitting at home anyway.
Yeah.
And it's a really amazing month.
Yeah, it's a good time to step up. I've got a good message for the group today.
Good, good. Okay, guys. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I have the amazing, wonderful human Todd Falcone on the call with us tonight. He is one of my mentors. I've taken a couple of his classes. He's a coach that I followed for pretty much since the beginning of my journey in network marketing. And I've always liked the information that he has had to give and how he presents it. I really appreciate him being on tonight. He lost his mother this week, so I thought maybe he would need to not be able to do this tonight, and he was like, nope, I'll be there. So I really appreciate you, Todd, getting on here to share with this wonderful group of people. You always have a great message, and you always have great input to tell people. I'm going to let you guys know Todd's real, raw, and authentic, so he doesn't pussyfoot around things and beat around the bush. So, and they're used to me talking like that. So, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Todd, and let you put on your show.
All right. Ba-dum, tum, tum. Well, Kaylee, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity of being here. What is up, ladies? I don't see any gentlemen, but if there is, gentleman, I guess I'm the only dude here. It's always good. I love to be outnumbered, outmanned, or outwomaned and outgunned. I can handle it. Good to be here with all of you. Yeah, so let's have a chat, shall we? So I've done a lot of trainings over the last 4 or 5 weeks. In fact, I think this is actually, I'll check. This is Zoom number 65 in the last 2.5 weeks. So 65 Zoom presentations, Zoom trainings. I put myself out there kind of to the marketplace a few weeks ago, and I didn't realize how many people didn't know that they couldn't get me. All they got to do is ask. And there's something pretty amazing about that principle. We'll probably cover that today, about the concept of just simply asking. But so I've been very busy. You know, a lot of people not, at home and not working, and, working on home projects, and who knows what else they might be working on at home while they, in some cases, can't go to work. And I've been probably busier the last month or so than I have been. And I keep myself really busy, but it's been insane. So I want to say this, like, we're pretty far, like, here we are, we're pretty deep into this thing. I don't know how deep we are. I mean, maybe this is just the beginning, who knows, but we're obviously several weeks into this whole, social distancing, the newest word of 2020. I don't think I'd ever heard that word before. But how about you? Like, social distancing? What the hell's that? I mean, I like being close to people. So maybe somebody said physical distancing, but it seems to me like social distancing is the most common word that people are using. And washing your hands, probably people are washing their hands more than they've ever washed their hands in their life. And, we're in this like weird thing that we're all in, and everybody's in it. Like, the whole world is in it. And I gotta say, I gotta be really, really straight with you guys today. Like, this message is super important. I think, like, you know, it's not like we're all sitting at home going, wow, this is super awesome. Like, everybody wants to get out and go back to like the way life was and be able to get out and go do stuff. And I mean, you know, when you work at home, it's kind of like, all right, well, I already work at home, so it's not that different. I guess one of the biggest differences is like I can't go down to my favorite taco place and have a margarita and a couple tacos with my wife. So things like that are kind of bizarre and can't, you know, looking at people giving you weird looks in the grocery store. Isn't that weird? Like, people walk around the grocery store, they don't even want to look at you. It's like, whoa, you know, you know, and now most people are wearing masks and all of that. So we're going through this thing. And I think the last statistic I saw, if I recall, was like 22 million people in the US have filed for unemployment. And I'm 53, and I don't think that I've ever seen anything as significant as what we're going through. I mean, this is truly unprecedented in all of our lives. And I understand that. And the reason I offered myself up to so many groups is because even in this network marketing world of positivity and abundance and, you know, go, 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 a lot of people in our space probably have gotten spun out too. And I've had a lot of leaders reaching out to me saying half my team is super focused and half my team is thinking the world's falling apart. And, you know, they're like stalled and they're not, you know, they're sitting on the couch and they're watching the news and they're just, you know, stuck. And I get it. I mean, it's weird. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be informed, but I don't think that you sitting on your couch all day long and watching the news or being, you know, even your news feed on Facebook hasn't been super healthy, I'd say, the last month. I mean, at least before, it was kind of entertaining and fun, and, you know, except for, you know, when people get into political arguments, which always takes place. But, you know, I think, like, here's what I want to say to you. There's like this big awakening that's taking place on the planet, like literally around the planet right now. And there are people at home right now that don't know if their job is going to be there. They don't know if their company is still going to be there. They, you know, and like, I don't have the statistics, but the percentage of people that don't have any savings account or very little in their account is high. It's like a majority of people have very little money. So if the check were to stop, they'd quickly be in dire straits. And that's not a good position. So I think many of those people are, you know, on a number of levels at home going, wow, why did I waste so much money? Wow, why didn't I, you know, listen to my father's advice or whatever? He said, save for a rainy day, right? Because it always rains. Or, man, and then there's people inside of network marketing that are like, man, I've been in this thing for 2 years and I've hardly done anything. Why have I treated it like a hobby? You guys have people on your team that are like that have been in the deal for a while and have just kind of been, you know, not really serious about it. And they're at home kicking themselves in their butt going, oh man, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. And I don't think that's healthy. I don't think living in the past is healthy. And living in a state of regret is healthy. I think that you have to, you know, it's like, look, if you're in that position where you're like, you could have taken bigger action, but you didn't, and you're sitting here kicking yourself in your own rear end, I think instead of, you know, kicking yourself in the rear, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, kick yourself once to get your butt off the couch and get into action. Because right now we're in such an interesting time. Like, in fact, it's interesting. So I actually got this today or yesterday. So this is this magazine that was put out, and it's talking about the gig economy. This was sent to me because I'm doing a training for a network marketing company on Saturday. They actually turned their national conference into a virtual conference. And one of the speakers has been studying the gig economy for the past couple of years. And, you know, there's been a lot, like, I've been to all these different events and people have compared like the gig economy thing as competition to network marketing. You know, things like Uber and Lyft and Airbnb are probably the things that we typically think about initially when we think about the gig economy, like something you could go take your spare time, go hustle, have a side gig that's not that where you can make money outside of your job and put some extra cash in your account. And people have referred to over and over for the last couple of years as, some of them refer to network marketing as, part of the gig economy, which, to some extent it probably is or could be. But these other things like Uber and Lyft and Airbnb as competition to, because it's always been a choice. Like I could do part-time network marketing, I could Uber, I could doll up a room in my house, rent it out. But all those things are like non-existent right now. You realize that, right? None of you are Ubering. You're not Ubering right now. Like I haven't Ubered since I got back from my last trip. I'm like, I've probably taken over, I don't even know, at least easily over 500 Ubers in my life, and I'm not Ubering. I was supposed to be at a friend's house 2 weeks ago, and for a visit. Obviously, I didn't go, and she has 2 rooms in her house, and those two rooms are Airbnb rooms, and she's at like 98% cancellation. So the last few weeks, as we've been home, I've had a lot of time to think, and as we all probably have, and I thought about like, what else is there? Like, what you tell me, what else is there? Can you think of what else is there other than network marketing? What else is there where somebody can plug and play and go? It's like, you see these hands? See those hands? Those are soft. If you touch my hands right now, you're like, dude, those are like butter hands. Those are soft, buttery, I would say, I'm not going to call, I'll just say it no collar hands. I'm not going to say white collar because I don't really wear a white collar, and they're definitely not blue collar hands. You know what my wife calls me? She calls me the not so handy man. Because I'm like not the handyman dude. So I'm bringing that up because let's say I was like stuck at home and trying to figure out a way to make money, but I'm handy with my hands. I could do handiwork and maybe hustle and make some money, but I'm not so handy, so I couldn't do that. And so people are at home right now, and they're like, if they're religious, they're literally praying to God, please bring me an opportunity, bring me a sign, bring me something. If they're not religious, they're at home like saying, bring me something, bring me a sign. And I just really believe that because in my mind, I've really, really racked my brain hard for the, I don't want to like the average. It's weird when we say for the average person, for the human being, who doesn't have a way to make money right now. What choice do they have? They can't go to work. Many of them, their businesses are closed down. They've been laid off. They're at home. What can they do to make money now? We are the answer. Network marketing. The products are already made. The comp plan's already there. The system's already in place. The track record's already there. We offer people the opportunity where today they can start in something right now, and they can go hustle, and they don't have to come up with a concept or the idea, and they can just come in and go. Like it's just plug and play. Everything is done. So I did, and it's actually interesting. So the last few weeks I've had at this point now over 300 conversations with different network marketers. And the conversations that I've had, the individuals that are keeping their head in the game, they're seeing a level of receptivity in their business like never before. Like people that they're reaching out to and they're saying, yes, 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 I'm open. In fact, 2 weeks ago, my friend David, who was in my downline about 20 years ago, sent me an email, and the email essentially said, hey, Todd, hope you and the wife and kids are doing good. Listen, man, my real estate business is essentially shut down. I need to get back into network marketing. And here's a guy that he's been making really good money in what he does, and his real estate business essentially shut down. I actually talked to him this morning. I said, are you getting anything done? He's like, I'm getting nothing done, zero. And so he knows how well connected I am in the network marketing space. So, and I know pretty much every deal, every company, every owner, all that stuff. So he was reaching out and asking me like, what do you recommend? And then last Saturday, I got a text message from my friend Jason. He was actually in my downline probably 18 years ago. And he's like a really, really successful DJ. He actually took, interestingly enough, a lot of the concepts that he learned through working with me into his DJ business. And he also took the concept of network marketing into his DJ business and created a network of DJs. And he's at this really, really successful network of DJs. Like he's made a lot of money doing that. And he texted me last Saturday and he said, hey, brother, my DJ business is obviously completely shut down. I need to get back involved in network marketing. So I share those stories with you because, and I can sit here and there's other people that have reached out to me, but there are people that are like literally waiting for your call. And in my opinion, it's like this: how dare you? How dare us to be so caught up in this that we don't step up and take the biggest action we've ever taken in our lives? When it's like when you know the way or you know the answer, you know that we are literally probably one of the only viable solution that I can think of. Of course, not an overnight solution. People aren't going to replace their income overnight, but like, how dare us like be caught up on the couch and a state of doldrum, in a state of darkness, in a state of dismay, in a state of worry. You know, we need to be warriors, not worriers. That's what we need to be. We need to step up and play the biggest game of our lives. I think that as network marketers, like you guys that are in the know, that like, you know, that you have an answer. You know that if somebody comes with you and they decide to engage. Now, this also has to do with your beliefs around the business model. This is my personal belief. I believe that we all possess, you know, when you, in your case with your company or whatever company that somebody's in, you possess a very unique and powerful opportunity that if you were to give to somebody and they looked at it and they go, oh, this looks pretty cool, and they were to go do something with that opportunity, and that's their choice, of course, whether they do or not do. If they were to do something with that opportunity, their life would never be the same, right? I don't know what your experience is, where you come from, but with 30 years under my belt in network marketing, I truly believe that this opportunity can be literally life altering for anybody that chooses to seize it. Now they've got to decide for themselves, of course, if they're going to do it and take action. And you guys know as well as I do, it's work and it's hard work and it takes commitment and effort and energy like every other legitimate opportunity might require. You know, it's not like you just sign up and you're rich. It's so funny. Our what do you call the naysayers? You know, you got any naysayers? The ones that are like, oh yeah, one of those things, or that's stupid, or only the people at the top make the money, or you got to be in early, you got to be in first. I mean, or I love the ones that call us a get rich quick scheme. Have you ever heard that term related to network marketing? It's I'm like, dude, obviously you do not understand network marketing at all, because it ain't get rich quick. I can tell you that. Can you get rich? Yes, you can, but never quick. So that clears, like, it's so funny when people refer to us as that, because that just shows me that someone clearly does not understand what our business model is. So I just think that, and you're never going to know until you act, right? It's like, you never know until you ask. You know, we've heard the phrase, ask and ye shall receive. And I think sometimes people don't realize the power of the ask. It's like, how do you know until you ask the question? How do you know if someone's open or not until you ask the question? Like, I mean, what are we like in like network marketing 101? We're taught don't prejudge your prospects. You guys all know that. You guys have all been around long enough to have heard, you know, early on in your network marketing career, don't prejudge your prospects. Those you think will, won't. Those you think won't, will. We've all probably heard that. Yet, even a guy like myself with years of experience, I've done it. I remember, in fact, I'll tell you a quick story, and I'll tell you why I'm sharing the story as well. So in 1997, I was living in Pacific Grove, California, and I went to this Bible study with this group of dudes. And I met this guy named Randall. And Randall was wearing like some, I think he was wearing a Ping golf hat and a golf shirt. And I was dressed in golf. I always pretty much wore golf clothes all the time because it's all I did. And I was like, you tee it? And he goes, yeah, obviously you do as well. I'm like, let's tee it. So we became friends and we played a lot of golf together. And I've played golf with Randall no less than 500 times, literally. That's a lot of golf. And I was very successful at the time in network marketing, which allowed me to play all the golf that I was playing. And Randall was rich, very, very rich. And he'd married into a lot of money. His wife was the daughter of the fourth wealthiest guy in the state of Texas. And I'm sure you can guess that Texas is a pretty wealthy state with all the oil coming from there and everything. And so here's the deal. I never once asked Randall to take a look at my business. Even though he was like my buddy, still one of my best friends to this day, I never asked. One day he calls me up and he says, hey, Todd. I'm like, what's up? He goes, do you know Everett such and such? And I go, yeah, I know that dude. He goes, yeah, well, he's on your 6th level. I'm on your 7th. Why didn't you tell me about this? And I was just kind of like, uh, I think the first words out of my mouth is because I'm stupid. And then the second words were, honestly, dude, I didn't think you would do it. You like, you've got so much money. Every time I see you, you're buying a Mercedes, selling it a week later, buying a Porsche, selling it a week later. Like, you're like Mr. Moneybags. He goes, no, I don't need the money. He goes, but I'm bored and I think I can help some people with this. You should have opened up your mouth and told me about it. And I just like, and I'm like, by the way, I'm like not a new network marketer. I'm like 13 years into my network marketing career. And I made that mistake. So I share that with you because if you ask, you're going to get. And then I got to tell you another thing. So I had this lady, on March, well, I can tell you, it was March 8th. It was the day that I got back from my last event. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. Hang on. She had gone through, I have a training program that teaches people how to recruit professionals, how to recruit real estate agents, mortgage professionals, realtors, professional salespeople. And she had gone through the course and she sent me a message and she said, I just finished going through the course. I took notes. I'm about ready to implement this. I'm a little nervous. Can I keep you abreast of my progress? And she's gone through my A teams in the past, and she essentially was looking for, I don't know, she was just looking for an atta girl or, some just feedback, right? So every other day for like the last month, she's been sending me a text message, and the message is like, hey, reached out to 12, said 6 appointments. I called 18. I said 8 appointments. I sponsored 2 today. I did this. I reached out to this. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun. She's like, wow, this method works. And I didn't say this out loud to her, but I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, well, yeah, I know it does because I don't teach anything that I would like. It's so stupid. Why would you teach something that you've never proven to work? Oh, yeah, I'll just come up with an idea and then teach it. That's like just silliness to me. So I don't remember what it was. I think it was Friday, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. I get this text message from her. And when your phone's closed, you don't see the full text message. You just see like part of it, right? And I see this text message from her and it says, small problem. And of course I opened it and I'm thinking, okay, what's the problem? And I read the rest of the text message. It says, small problem. Everybody I'm talking to is saying yes to me. And so I responded back to her. I said, well, yeah, that's because everybody is not working right now. And so of course they're open to opportunity. Of course they're open to taking a look at something. She goes, yeah, but I'm just so surprised. Like literally everybody and she's calling primarily realtors. She goes, every realtor I'm calling is saying, yeah, I'm open. Yeah, I'm open. Yeah, I'm open. But here's the deal. She's asking. My question to you is, how much are you asking? How much are you showing up? And like, here's the thing, you ever have somebody on your team come to you and say, this isn't working? They're like, oh, this just isn't working. Well, let me tell you what you do with those people from this point forward. Because here's what I found. Like the people that don't understand network marketing say things like, oh, you got to be in first. Only the people at the top make the money. It's like it only works for a small percentage of people. You want to know who network marketing works for? The people that work network marketing, pure and simple. It's literally that simple. And what's fascinating to me is like, you're going to have people on your team that come to you and they're like, oh, it's not, here's what I want you to do. Write this down, or at least remember this at the very least. When your rep comes to you and they're like, yeah, it's just not working out for me. I think I'm going to quit. Then I want you to ask them this question. Well, John, that's cool. I get it. Let me ask you this question before I let you go. I hear you. It's not working. But what would you say, like in the last 90 days, how many people would you say you've actually introduced this product or this business to, give or take? And you know the answer you're going to get like almost every single time? Well, not enough. So they come to you quitting and complaining, and they're mad at the lack of the results from the work they never did. So, because look, I mean, I know that some people come in and hustle and they don't get the results. But most of the people that come in, they're not getting the result because they're simply not doing the work. Because if you do the work, even if you're not highly skilled, you'll get the result. It's, it's literally that simple. Because it's like, you can't go out there and flip rocks over and ask people to take a look and just keep on doing it, even if you suck at this, and have somebody go, yeah, this makes a lot of sense to me. I'll take a look at it. Oh my gosh, I'm going to do this thing. So I just think that right now, in the midst of all that's going on, this is the time for you to step up your game like never before. This is for now we can't be going out there like all holier than thou, told you so, should have joined my business, before all this crap happened. We got to be, classy and professional and do things with integrity. And that's something we should do all the time anyhow. But, sitting at home and not like reaching out to people. And by the way, you know what? People are picking up their phones now more than ever before because everybody's isolated. They want to talk to you. They want to hear from you. Like I've made so many phone calls with people, even friends of mine that I know typically don't answer the phone. They're picking up the phone. Even CEOs of network marketing companies that I'm reaching out to are picking up the phone when, a lot of times they typically wouldn't pick up the phone because they're at home and people want to talk. And so if you are in the same place that I am, where you believe that we are a viable option, you have to first believe that first. Like if you believe that network marketing is truly a viable option, and you all representing True is a product and an opportunity that you feel is a viable opportunity, and I don't think you would be here if you didn't, right? Then don't you owe it to people to let them know about what you have to offer? Like I just don't think, I understand, like my whole brand is the fearless networker, right? That's my trademark, is the fearless networker. And it's not that I don't have fear. I got plenty of fears. I'm just willing to shove the fears aside long enough to get done whatever I need to get done to get on the other side of fear, because what I want on the other side of fear is bigger than the fear itself. And the biggest thing that people struggle with in network marketing is the fear of being judged, right? Or the fear of screwing up, or the fear of you not being my friend or whatever if you go do some, so people are stuck in their fears. But I just think now, with what is going on, that do we really have the time to fear? Like how, like, let me phrase this to you, because this is something that I'm going to mute this up real quick. So let me share something with you. Look at me. Okay. Pay attention. So when I was on stage, and I've done this on a lot of stages around the world, and I did this on March 6th through 8th when I was in Vegas. So I got 2,500 people in this room, and they're all here for this national conference. Most of these people flew up from Central and South America. And so, I mean, I got to guess that, airfare, hotel, tickets, food, minimum $2,000, $2,000 to $4,000 to go to this event for 4 or 5 days for sure. Right. So they're all showing up at this national conference. Like why are they there? Because they're bored? No, they're there because they want to win. And so I'm sitting here walking through this audience, and a lot of times I like get off the stage and I, walk through people, and not walk through people, but walk up and down the aisles and kind of like get more connected with the audience. I asked the group this question. I said, let me ask you this question. How many of you, and I'm asking you this question, so please pay attention to what I'm saying. Don't do anything other than look at me right now, okay? Because it's very, very important. I asked this audience this question. I said, how many of you want to make enough money here in this business that you're in, where you didn't have to have a job or a second job, or you, in other words, the income from the business gave you everything that you needed in your life. Paid your bills, you had extra money, your kids' college funds were funded, your cars were paid for in cash, you had savings, you didn't have debts. In other words, you guys get my drift, right? So your life could depend on it. And what happened in that room? 100% of the hands go up. And I'm looking around, I'm like, looking, I don't see like a single room in the hand down. I said, okay, let me ask you all this. Up until this point, how many of you have been acting as if your life depends on it? Be honest. Like 95% of the hands in the room go down. And I'm like, wait a minute, you want your life to depend on it, but you're not acting as if your life depends on it. I said, well, let's take it one step further. And what's interesting about this is it was made up until now. This has always been a made up fantasy story until now. And I said, all right, so what happens if you go home on Monday and you don't have a job? You get fired or your company had gone out of business and you try to find work and you can't find work. There's no work to be found. You can't get a job. You can't borrow money from anybody. You need to feed yourself and your family. You need to keep a roof over your head. And now the only choice is this opportunity. This is the only thing, the only way you can survive, the only way you can feed yourself. How many of you, if that was the case, would then do things differently? And of course, what happens? All the hands in the room go up because your life now clearly depends on it. Many of you right now are actually in that position. You're like that made up position is now a reality. And so I'm not a fighter. I haven't been in a fight since 7th grade. I'm a lover. I love to hug. I'm a total lover. Definitely not a fighter. Last time I got a fight was Dave Heinrichs in 7th grade. But let me just tell you something. And some of you, I'm sure many of you are parents. I mean, by show of hands, how many of you are parents? You got kids, okay? Let's say you got kids and you're not a fighter. And you've never been in a fight in your life. But if some person came to hurt your children, and you know that person was going to gravely harm your child, what would you do? You would bite, kick, scratch, punch, claw, pull. You would do whatever you had to do. That instinct would absolutely well up inside you, and you would do everything you could to protect your child. That's like that just human instinct that would just well up inside of you. Even if you're not a fighter, you would do whatever you had to do to protect yourself because it's a matter of life and death. When you start to look at your business as a matter of life and death, you'll start to do things very differently. When you start to realize, oh my gosh, my very survival depends upon how I act in this business. If that was the case, do you think your friend's opinion of you would that matter at all? Like what you thought of me for bringing an amazing product and an amazing opportunity to you? It wouldn't matter. You wouldn't worry about the opinion of another person and allow that other person's opinion to dictate your behavior, which most people do most of the time. You wouldn't ever be shy to talk to somebody or introduce this product or this opportunity to people because you got to eat. And I've done this like on stages all around the world when we're not going through the coronavirus thing. And I think it wakes people up. It makes you think a little bit differently. Because here's the deal. Like I've also done this. I'm thinking we can't do it now because nobody can go to work for the most part. I'm like, hey, on Monday when you leave the event, don't go to your job. Like, I'm like, how many of you got jobs? And like, all these people raising their hand. I'm like, good, don't go to work on Monday. Don't call in sick. Don't use a vacation day. Tuesday, don't call in sick. Don't use a vacation day. Just pull a straight up irresponsible no-show. What happens by Wednesday? You don't have a job. So what happens is you'll show up to something. Check this out. You'll show up to something that you may not even like very much. I'm not saying you don't like your job. Many people do like their jobs. But you might be in a job that you come home every night and you complain to your spouse, your significant other, blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh, let me vent. I got to tell you about my day, blah, blah, blah. This happened, and I hate this place. But you'll keep going. And here's why. Because the consequence of you not showing up is so significant. The loss of that income, the loss of that security blanket is so significant that it will force you to show up for something that you might not like that much. But you look at your network marketing business, you go, what's another day? I'm only making $100 a month. I'm only making a couple $100. What's the big deal? You're not looking at the actual consequences of your inactivity. And I believe that the consequence of you not taking action in network marketing is far more than the consequences of you losing your job, because not only you're not losing out on linear income, you're losing out on the compounded effect of what would happen if you actually went to work, because we're in a business that contains the mechanics of wealth, leverage. So it takes like a shift for you to change, a shift in thinking for you to change your actions. And, we're all sitting here at home right now. I don't know what you're doing, and it's none of my business what you're doing. You do. But look, this is the time for you to step up, not step down. This is the time for you to check in, not check out. This is the time for you to make your move. I think if you've been sitting on the couch after this, get your ass off your couch, get yourself into a productive state, get yourself focused on being intentional about building your business, not hoping that somebody's going to join you. Intentional. There's a total difference between intentional business building and hoping somebody's going to join. Intentional is like, I'm reaching out to you and saying, hey, Kaylee, Todd Falcone, what's up? How you guys doing through all this? All right. You guys cool? Oh, no, things are crazy. I lost my job. We're not working. I'm like, look, I'd feel awful if I didn't tell you what I'm doing. Carla and I have been building a business for the last year. I haven't even had an opportunity to tell you about it. If I could show you a way to make money entirely from home without you leaving your house in order to do it, and you could start immediately doing it, is that something you'd be open to taking a look at? We need to be asking the question. If we don't ask the question, you're never going to get the answer. And I really know this, that, and especially with high level people, professionals who are always, somebody cornered me and said, hey, Todd, what's your favorite way of recruiting? I'll tell you straight up, my favorite way of recruiting is recruiting professional people that sell for a living, people that earn money on commissions, people that are already in an authoritative type of position. I don't have the time to get into it today, but I do a recurring training webinar, and I'll type it actually in the comments. It's toddfalcone.com/pros. And I would suggest that you get a pen and paper and sometime this week, go through that training webinar. It's about an hour long, toddfalcone.com/pros. Bring a pen and paper. I want you to take notes while you're going through it. At the tail end of it, I make my training program available. I don't care whether you get it or not. That's totally up to you. But take notes during the training, because now more than ever, professional people are sitting there stuck at home. I've had multiple conversations with friends of mine in lots of different very successful occupations that are doing nothing right now, that are sitting at home. Their business is on stall. And these are smart people that didn't have a plan B. We can go out right now into the marketplace and make one of the biggest impacts that we've ever made it as a network marketing profession, and be able to introduce people to this profession. And by the way, the people that have given you a hard no in the past, go talk to them, because at the time, let me tell you something, time's different now. Person who said to you, don't you dare, don't you talk to me about that network marketing stuff ever again. I'd be like, Bob, listen, brother, man, I know I talked to you 9 months ago about what Carla and I are doing. And you told me, no, don't talk to you about it. But given everything that's going on, I got to at least give you another chance to say no to me. If I could show you a way to make money entirely from home, is that something you'd be open to taking a look at? Pretty sure many of those hard no's will turn into a hard yes, but you'll never find out unless you ask. Who have you not talked to yet? Let me give you a couple actionable items really quickly, and write this down. By the way, those of you that I cannot see, turn your cameras on. I want to see you. Unless you're naked, I don't really want to see that. But I want to see you. I'm going to do an exercise. So flick on your cameras. I don't care if you took a shower or not. It doesn't matter. We're at home. I don't care if you're in your jammies. As long as you're vertical, that's good. Don't be on my training and be laying on your couch. You better get up off your couch before. You can't learn in a horizontal state. So get off your couch if you're on your couch. Stand up or sit up upright. I mean, I did a training the other day, and this guy's like, I'm like, are you serious? You're sleeping? You're like laying down horizontal while I'm doing a training? You can't learn when you're horizontal. You can do other things when you're horizontal, but you can't learn. All right. So some of you guys are like, what? First thing I want to say is this, okay? I want you guys to create a new law for yourself in your life. And if this was the only thing that I said, I really believe that your life will change forever in network marketing. But you have to do what and this is very simple to do. Actually, it's so simple to do that some of you won't realize how actually incredibly powerful it is. So here's the thing. So for example, and since I used the being naked thing, I'll bring that out again. If like, you're not going to leave this Zoom and jump in your car stark naked and go to the grocery store with your mask on and walk into the grocery store buck naked and start grocery shopping. Even if you're a nudist and it's 85 degrees, you're super comfortable being naked. There's not one person here that's going to walk into the grocery store naked, even if you love being naked. And you want to, why is that? You know why? Why? Because it's against the law. And you know that some person's going to call the cops and go, hey, some crazy person in the grocery store wearing a mask only, and they're grocery shopping, come and get them, and you're cuffed with your cold butt on a cop seat, going to jail. So you won't do it. Why? Because indecent exposure is a law in this country. Germany has no nude laws. That means you can be nude or you can't be nude. I don't know what that means. No nude or you can be nude. Anyhow, so in the US, you pretty much can't be walking around naked. Now, here's the thing. Why do I even say that? Because I want you to make this new law for you. Now, this is not a goal. There's a difference between a goal and a rule. This becomes an unbreakable rule in your life. And if you make this as an unbreakable rule, much like you never break the rule of you don't go, none of you have ever won, I promise you, unless you're quite literally insane, not one person on this Zoom has ever walked into the grocery store naked. Okay? I'd pretty much bet my career on it, unless you're literally insane. So, you understand the difference between something you're striving for or wish to achieve and something that's an unbreakable rule. Here's the rule. Never does a day pass without me doing X. Or a better way to phrase it, or another way to phrase it might be, I never go to bed until I do blank. And here's what the X or the blank is. I never go to bed until I've done X number of intentional business building reach outs. I'm not talking about, oh, I did a Facebook Live and I posted and I prayed. I'm not talking about re-alphabetizing your list. I'm not talking about how many Zooms that you showed up for this week. I'm talking about intentional business building reach outs where I engage somebody on the phone or text message or however you reach out to them and say, look, I've got something I'm doing. I'd love to show you what I'm up to. If whatever your invite is, you're doing an actual invite for your opportunity. In other words, never does a day pass until I hit this minimum number. And the number needs to be something you can hit every day. So like, okay, 0, not a good number. 1, oh my gosh, if you did one whole reach out today, I'd be so tired for you. I have to go take a nap for you. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, 25. So I do this A-team program. We have 600 people almost in this A-team I'm doing. And the last A-team that we did, I had this young kid, like 25, and he said 50. And I was like, 50? I love a big thinker. I said, you mean to tell me that you're never going to go to bed any day of the week that you're putting time into your business until you've reached out to 50 people for your business? Like, I'm talking like every day. This isn't a wish. This isn't something I'm hoping to strive for. This is, I don't ever go to bed until this happens. You follow my drift? So he had to way adjust his number down. So I want you to understand it's got to be a number that forces you to stretch, but something you can hit every day. Okay, how many of you think you could do, seriously, 5 reach outs a day, 5 intentional business building reach outs a day? If you're not raising your hand, are you sleeping or you don't have arms? Which one is it? Okay. Seriously. Now, there's not a single soul here so I don't know what the number is. I'm not saying it's 5, or if it's 10 or what the number is. But if you take me up on this and you from this point forward, I'm like, I don't ever go to bed until I've done X number of reach outs. You'll never have a problem. So what if you did 5 intentional reach outs a day for the next 365 days and you never skipped a day? Where would your check be? You wouldn't have no money problems. You wouldn't have a problem. I'm not going to ask you and put you into an uncomfortable position, but I promise you there are people on this Zoom right now that have not done 5 intentional reach outs every day this past week. You know it. You don't need to tell me. I already know what the answer is because I know the percentages. But what if you make that your rule? And what if that's the only thing that you ever did is like, hey, my whole mission is I don't go to bed until I've done 5 reach outs. So it's 4:30 at night and you're finishing your day at 4:45 and you've only done 3, you got 2 more to do. Otherwise you don't finish your day. That's what we call a rule. I can absolutely guarantee you 100% that if you do this, your business will completely change. It's impossible for you to fail. You cannot lose, even if you don't have skills. Number 2, And this is something that I've done with a lot of groups. I want you to pull out your phones and show me your phones really quickly. This is an exercise that you should be doing now. I see some of you like Kathy and Melissa and Cheyenne and others and Sandra, you're on your phones, but the rest of you, pull your phones out and show it to me. Don't be telling me you don't have your phone within arm's reach, seriously. And the rest of you, turn your cameras on. I want to see your phones. Show me your phone. Christy, I can see you're on your phone, so you're cool. You can do this later. All right, so check this out. Open up your address book in your phone right now as we speak. Go to the letter A in your address book. You guys are here for a reason. Don't be looking at me and going, oh, I'm not going to do it. This is too much work. Look, we could all burn some extra calories right now. I guarantee you, like, most of us are probably not burning the amount of calories we should be burning sitting at home, unless we're Wendy and we're working out right now. Looks like Wendy's at the gym at the moment, the home gym. So here's what you do. Go to your address book, go to the letter A, find the very first person where it's been, let's say, 3, 4, 5, 6 months since you've had any conversation with that person. And then as soon as you find that person, just stop. No judging, no thoughts. It's like, I literally have not talked to that person in a year, 3 months, 6 months, whatever, at least 3 months. Once you found the person, now open up a text message to them right now on the Zoom and send them this text in your own words. Kaylee, what is up? Todd Falcone, how the heck are you? I haven't talked to you in ages. How are you guys doing with this whole thing that's going on? We got to catch up. It's been far too long. In your own words, however you talk. Yo, Kaylee, what up? Falcone, how's it going? You may not talk like that, so don't talk like that. Hi, Kaylee. Todd Falcone, how are you doing? It has been far too long since we have had a conversation. Let's catch up. Not ... I got to tell you about this business. This is called a re-engagement exercise. The purpose of this exercise is to make an emotional deposit into somebody's life. How many of you, by a show of hands, I'm just curious, it was literally the very first person in your phone? Very first person. Let me be honest. It's not a big deal. Few of you. Literally the first person. Now send them a text. Send the text. And here's what's going to happen. Press send. Don't be like fake texting on me either, okay? Because Kaylee's going to report back to me and tell me who did it and who didn't. She already knows that. She's going to give me a spreadsheet of all the people that were here, and you're going to provide. We're not going to do that, but just do it, okay? Now, one of three things is going to happen. One, your phone's going to ring right now. Tessa Lynn, appreciate you showing that to me. So, one, your phone's going to ring. Please don't take the call right now while we're on the Zoom. Press the red button, send them a text back. Say, I'll get back to you in a little bit. I'm just wrapping something up. Two, you're going to get a text back, and they're going to say something like, OMG, holy smokes, so great to hear from you. I was actually thinking about you, interestingly enough. Let's reconnect. Or three, they're going to text you back, and they're going to say, who is this? And that's a person that doesn't have you saved in their phone. How awful is that? This is a person that you know, apparently, and they don't even have you saved in your phone. Do you realize? And some of you, by the way, how many of you have some guy named John or Sally in your phone? It's just first name and a phone number. Sally and a phone number. And you're like, I have no freaking clue who Sally is. How many of you got people like that in your phone? Be straight with me. Look at all the hands, okay? Never again. You can't do that as network marketers. If you're a network marketer, you have notes on people. Like every time I add a person to my phone, I put notes on you. How we met, who referred you to me, what we talked about, where you're from, where you went to school, whatever I learned in the conversation, I got notes. Every single person in my phone. I've got over 6,300 personal contacts in here. Unless they're a personal family member, there are notes on those people. This is what good networkers do. This is what smart networkers do. This exercise that I just had you do is the opportunity for you to spark up a conversation. Because here's the thing, if the only time that you reach out to somebody is when you want something, guess what? You're not going to get it. But if you reach out to people to say, hey, how's it going? How you guys been? What's going on? If I were to reach out to you a month later and say, look, I've got something cool I'm doing that's got me super excited. I'd love to show you what I'm doing. They're going to be receptive to the message. I mean, like, I'll give you a quick example. Bart Scott. I met Bart Scott in 3rd grade in Mrs. Johnson's class. Have not seen him physically since 1985. But I have maintained contact with Bart on the phone, through Facebook. We've had conversations. If I reached out to Bart today and said, hey, brother, man, what's up? How you guys doing? Listen, I've got something I'm doing. I'd love to show you. He would be receptive to the message. Can you imagine, had I not talked to Bart since 1985? and called up Bart and said, hey, Bart, Todd Falcone, how's it going? He's going to say, who? This is Todd Falcone. We met in Mrs. Johnson's class in second grade. We used to go fishing together. He's like, I think I remember. It's been a long time. Why are you calling me? Hey, Bart, I've been thinking about you. I've got this amazing business. Man, that's freaking creepy, straight up. It is. It's weird. Like, you're reaching out to somebody, you haven't talked to them in 15 years. And first thing you're going to do is pitch them a business. All these people, like you need to stay engaged with people. You need to be making emotional deposits into the accounts of people that you want to do business with. And let me tell you something, in this time of isolation, there's no time like the present to be reconnecting with people, to be re-engaging with individuals. Okay. That's number 2. Number 3 is this. Let me ask you this. How many of you want to last in this business? You want to last? You don't want to be a one-hit wonder overnight, like here today, gone tomorrow. Looks like most of you. Cool. I love to hear that. Lasting in this business requires you constantly working on you. You constantly developing your knowledge. You constantly developing your skill sets. In a book that, there's a book by Stephen Covey called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I highly recommend you read it if you have not read it. It's one of the greatest reads of all time. He shares this interesting story in that book. The story, here's the story, and here's the gist of the story. This dude's walking through the forest on a little walkabout. He's going for a little forest walk, and he stumbles across a lumberjack. And he sees this lumberjack, and this lumberjack's got this manual saw, this big giant saw, and he's trying to cut down this tree. And he's sweating, and he's exhausted, and you can tell his frustration, and the guy's watching him for a little while. And he comes up and he taps the lumberjack on the shoulder and he says, hey, excuse me. He said, I've been watching you and I just can't help but notice there's no teeth on your saw. There are no teeth on your saw. And the lumberjack looks up at him in this exhausted state and he says, I'm just too busy sawing to sharpen my saw. What do you mean? What did he mean there? You need to take the time to sharpen your skill sets. It's like, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I love to cook. Pulled out a knife, cutting a tomato. How many of you ever try to cut a tomato with a completely dull knife in the kitchen? I mean, tomato. It's not like something hard. I'm sitting here trying to saw through a tomato and it won't even break the skin, but then I sharpen it up and it's like, phew, phew, phew. Here's the point. Now is the time for you, and always is the time for you, to be working on your skill sets, to working on your leadership capacity, your leadership ability, your recruiting skills, your ability and your understanding on how to do this business more effectively. If you're not taking time every single day to grow your skill sets, to grow your knowledge, your expertise in this arena, it's like you're playing the game with a dull knife. You're trying to cut a tomato with a dull knife. The sharper you are, the better the result that you're going to get. So I don't know whatever, you don't have to be listening to me. You can be listening to anybody else, something that's growing you. Whatever book you're reading, what are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you plugging into that's growing you? I will tell you this, that if you do like listening to me, and I haven't seen too many people hang up yet. Well, that's good. Still have most people's attention. So it's like, I've been looking at the numbers. We've been maintaining the numbers this entire time. That's a good sign, by the way. Right? So I will tell you something that I produced, that we just finished about a month ago, that I think would be very interesting for you to take a look at. You can figure out for yourself if you think it's something that you need. But there's a big lack in leadership training and network marketing. And I spent the last 5 months producing the most comprehensive leadership development training program that I've ever produced in 15 years as a speaker and a trainer. And we released it right before this whole COVID thing came on. And then it's been a little nuts lately, but I just posted in the group or in the comments, the website's toddfalcone.com/leadership. And I would suggest to you that if you feel like you want to last in this business, it's the very best work that I've ever done to date. And it's all about helping you understand how to develop yourself into a leader so that other people will follow you, and how to develop other leaders that don't leave you, that are loyal, that are focused, that are productive, so that you can create a lasting residual income in this business. That I would say that the what do I want to say, the theme, if you will, if I were to give the leadership evolution training a theme, it's about the art of long-term survival in the network marketing profession. I've spent 30 years in this business, and I know what it takes to survive in this business. I know what it takes to last in this business. And
I just want to interrupt really quick, Todd. I just had pretty much taken Todd's. He has an A team. He has an A team. I don't know, what do you call it, Todd?
It's called
the A team training. It's like 12 weeks accountability program. And I had just taken that. And I'm going to tell you, at first when I registered, honestly, I'll never forget. I said on a comment on Todd's post, I've been meaning to take this forever and ever. And he said, get off your ass and just do it. And I did, right immediately, right then. I didn't wait till the next day. I didn't wait till next week. And I think that's why I like Todd a lot, because he says it how it is. And I also just had signed up for his leadership program, but I've been really sick and haven't been able, but I've looked through some of the modules, and I think it's going to be really, really great. But I'm going to tell you guys, I want you to make sure you're writing the stuff down, because that A team, he just did a great special on that. I don't know if it's started yet or if it's over yet.
Yeah, it started and it's done. We have nearly 600 people in this one. It's the biggest A team I've run. It started
Holy
last Tuesday.
Cow.
Yeah. So
Todd, how many, do you mind me asking how many people finished our last A team? How many people started and how many people finished?
We typically, the percentages of people that choose to finish is typically around somewhere between 65 and 75%. It varies, which is kind of fascinating to me, because in the very first week, I always say, how many of you are pot committed, all in, ready to go? And everybody, of course, is raised. I'm in there. And then they can't even last 90 days. And it's not like you did it. I mean, it's not like I'm having you do something that's so hard that, this is so challenging. This is so difficult. It's just, some people just don't, they just choose not to do the work. And that's unfortunate. But I know anybody that does do it and finishes it, they do more than they would typically do without it. Yeah.
So at first, when I went into this, I was a little nervous, because I was like, you know what? I'm a really good recruiter. I recruit a ton of people. I remember the first week I turned in my recruiting sheet, and I think they thought I made it up. I mean, people were asking me all kinds of questions, like, there's no way you comment to, you talk to 50 people a day. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And all these people on this chat right now can affirm to that. I show my team what I do. But I would see people in this group, and it's funny because now I've had a couple people from that group, Todd, reach out to me and either try to cross recruit me or try to talk to me about, since the group has been over, right? And I'm stuck where I'm at. I'm at home, I'm not recruitable. Or talk to me about joining my team. But week after week, I would watch Todd take out of his time and do all of this work and come, and he did a couple of videos a week, and then every Tuesday night we had a live training. He let people talk. He would do all of this stuff, and then we had to have our sheets turned in on Monday. And you guys all know that I'm kind of an airhead, and I would forget, and I'd be like, oh my God, I got to get my sheet turned in. But then I would see these people, and they would have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And I'm not talking about anybody, but you can't get anywhere doing zeros, guys. I don't care if you talk to one person a day or if you talk to 50 people a day. If you're not doing nothing, nothing's going to happen. And that's one of the reasons that I had Todd on this call, because I have so many people on my team, and there's a lot of people on my team tonight, and I'm looking in here, that they say that nothing is happening in their business. But when on Sundays I ask you to turn in your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you've done nothing all week. So if you continue to do nothing happens. When Todd recommends a book, I buy the book because Todd recommended it. I remember he recommended this book a couple of months ago, and I'm going to tell you, me and Allie France bought the book. And I had started the book first. And she said, how do you like it? And I said, I am not going to lie. The words are little. It's long. It's a lot of words. It's long. It's long. but I read it because Todd told me to read it. And I don't know if I even told you that story yet, Todd. I can't even remember that. I'd have to go in my room and get it. Some guy wrote it and you said you have to read it. It's the most incredible book ever. And I think it was about how to keep people. I'll send you the name afterwards.
How to never lose a customer again?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm not going to lie. It was a hard book to read, man. The words are little. I mean, like I needed a magnifying glass. I can't see very good with my glasses. I needed a magnifying glass. Yes, that's it. And it was super tough to read. But you know what? My mentor told me I needed to read this book. And sometimes we have to do things we don't like to do to get to where we want to go. I mean, the book wasn't bad. It was a good book. It was just the words were little and it's a lot of pages. Yeah. And when the words are little and it's not very, I don't know if interesting is the word I want to use. It was just kind of slow. It's not like reading Todd's book. You know what I mean? Fearless Networker. I read that book over and over and over and over and over. And if you're on my call tonight and you're on my team and you haven't gotten Todd's book, Fearless Networker, please send me a message after this call. But so sometimes you just have to listen and do what people tell you to go do that are where you want to be. And if you're going and listening to people that aren't where you want to be, chances are you're not going to go very far. And I learned that from Todd. It was probably one of the very first things he ever said to me standing in a casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, on November 13th, something 7 years ago. I remember he had on a Hawaiian shirt. I'm like, who is this guy? He looks like he just flew in from Hawaii, you know, but he was cool and he was awesome. And so anyway, I didn't want to interrupt you, Todd, but I just thought that was important to talk about how people want to do things, but if you're doing nothing, you're going to get nothing.
Yeah, and I think, and you bringing that up, and I appreciate that. Like, here's the thing: if you're not, and look, if you're not doing something, if you're not acting, there's no pill that I can give you that's going to make you act. You have to swallow the pill, and the pill is, okay, I got to get real with me and figure out how to get past my insecurities, my inadequacies, my self-worth issues, whatever they are. But the only person that can do that for you is you. Like, I can provide you an amazing amount of education and training and knowledge and know-how and help you to understand with greater clarity how to do what we do in this business. But you've got to get past yourself. Like, you don't see the old version of me because I'm not the same person today that I was yesterday, a month ago, 20 or 30 years ago. Because I've worked on myself, because I had the desire, see, if you have the desire that's strong enough, like for example, if I was going to work with you, let's say I was building a team, 3 things that I require. Number 1 is you got to have the desire to change. Number 2 is you've got to be willing to be coachable and follow instructions. And number 3, you have to have the willingness to initiate. If you've got those 3 things, I'd work with you. And so you guys are here, which is a great sign. I mean, look, we've only lost like 4 people and we've gone, an hour and 5 minutes. Why are you here? Ask yourself that question. Why are you here? You're here because you want to make a difference. You want this, I know deep down inside, you want the business to work for you. Otherwise you wouldn't even be here. So if you want the business to work for you, then sometimes you got to get tough on yourself. You have to get real. Like, I got to get myself under a rock and have a conversation with myself about me and my stuff and get through this stuff. It's like, oh, I'm so concerned about this. Well, how can I get through this? You could sit there and focus on, like I did a post earlier today. We all got problems. I could sit here for the next hour and talk about all my problems, but that's not going to help anybody out. It wouldn't help me out. But what does help you out is, okay, let's look at what's the solution to the problem. If this is my problem, okay, I've identified exactly what the problem is. How do I solve it? And what we do in this business, honestly, guys, isn't that tough. Really? We go talk to people about how they can improve their health and about how they can be more financially abundant. That's tough. That's hard to talk about. I mean, Can you imagine some of the jobs that people have that are so much more difficult than what we do in network marketing? So many things that are so difficult. Wendy wants me to repeat the three. Here's the three things. Number one is you have to have
I'm typing on.
desire for change. Number two, you need to be coachable. And number three, you have to be willing to initiate. That means start doing something. So there's a couple of resources. I mean, look, here's the deal. There's a bunch of free training videos on my page at toddfalcone.com. There's like probably 500-600 of them. I release a new training video every single week, and every single one of them is a content-rich training video. If you're not regularly plugging into me, you can do so over at toddfalcone.com. If you're in a position where you really want to grow your leadership ability, and I do think like every single person, what's weird is in network marketing, people are like, oh, well, I'm not a leader yet. Well, okay, well, step up. It's time to be a leader. It's like, it's not like you have to wait to be a leader. You just have to decide that you want to lead. And it starts with you leading yourself. You can't lead others until you can lead yourself. So, people get into mechanics and techniques, and those are all important and everything, but understanding the principles of leadership and, and really understanding how do you motivate you to move? How do you get through how do you change this? Because this is the thing that impacts all of you more than anything else. The thought processes that we have about ourselves and about the network marketing profession are the biggest roadblocks for people. Because here's the deal, and I'll end with this. If you were in a total convicted belief state about the profession of network marketing, the products that True puts out, the opportunity that you guys have, the financial opportunity that it represents, and your ability to get it done, you would never skip talking to a person about this. If somebody was in front of you that was struggling or needed help or was looking for a change, you would never keep your mouth shut. You would never shy away and not talk to that person. But how many of you, and don't admit it, because I've done it too, had the opportunity present itself, you could have talked to that person about what you do, but then you didn't. And the only reason you didn't was not because you're lazy. It's because you got too caught up in here and decided not to, because some fear of rejection or not knowing what to say or being humiliated or whatever, the other handful of other things. But when you're in a total belief state, you'll talk to anybody. And that's really part of my objective through my trainings, is to help you get into that convicted belief state, the same kind of position that I'm in. Like, I talk to anybody, anywhere, at any time about network marketing, never shy away from it. I don't care how high level they are or who they are. I'll bring it up. But that's the state that I'm in. And my objective is to help you guys get into that state. So Kaylee, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Your leadership, and you're just an amazing human being. I love you to death. The rest of you, I don't know a whole lot of you, but love you too. And thanks for being here. And
thanks, Todd.
See you next time. Have a good one.
Have a good night, everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kaylee.
You're welcome.